Hello there, this is Senris. This video is part 6 of an Anarchist-themed Let's Play Stardew Valley series. I'll link to the playlist with the rest of the series in the description. On day 8 of summer, I wake up to a torrential downpour of rain. Some more coffee beans are ready, so I plant those and then check on the chickens. They don't like hanging outside in the rain, so they're staying in their warm coop. I grab my fishing pole to take advantage of the rain and head into town, where I check the calendar and see it's Gus's birthday. I'll swing by the saloon later to give him a gift. I head to the beach and spend a few hours fishing there and then head to the mountain lake to mix it up and fish some more. Variety is the spice of life after all. I find a Jade Ring which will fill my empty ring slot and increase my critical strike power. Once the sun is starting to go down, I head to the community center to donate most of the rest of the lake fish bundle and complete the ocean fish bundle, which rewards me with some beach warp totems. I head back to the farm and put my fish in the shipping bin. Maybe the community can get together and have a fish fry soon. I chop down a few trees for the wood I'll need to build a barn, but decide that chopping down trees during a thunderstorm is probably against the anarchist equivalent of OSHA's regulations and also just a very bad idea.
That is a very, very bad idea.
I retreat to my house, which I assume is grounded according to anarcho-OSHA guidelines. Overnight, my fishing skill levels up, giving me access to some new tackle. The next day we have much nicer sunny weather and I'm greeted by some peppers which are ready to harvest. Speaking of peppers, now it's time to derail this video with an update on my IRL Stardew Valley farm. Skip to this timestamp if you aren't interested in that. I'm growing a variety of vegetables on my patio, including jalapeno, habanero, and cayenne peppers, as well as cucumbers and carrots. So far, the only things ready to eat are the jalapenos, and even those could use more ripening. I've been harvesting them as needed for cooking, but will wait until they have turned red to harvest them all. If you didn't know there are such a thing as red jalapenos, as I didn't recently, it turns out many peppers change colors from green to bright red, orange, or yellow over time, and being bright green is a sign that they aren't ready yet. Bell peppers, for example, start green, and yellow and red ones you see in the store were just left on the plant longer, and they develop different tastes as they mature. Here are my bell peppers, which are still very green, so I'll let them go for another few weeks. The cayenne peppers, which most people associate with dark red chili powder, are in a similar situation, as are my habaneros, which are growing even slower. Generally, the hotter the pepper, the longer it takes to mature. The carrots seem to be doing well, but I haven't tried picking them yet. I'm going to give them a few more weeks as well. Lastly, my cucumber plants have grown shockingly fast and have many flowers, but the cucumbers haven't started growing out of them yet. I'm a little worried about the cucumbers and habaneros being ready by the end of the fall, and probably should have planted them earlier in the season, but I'll keep an eye on them and post updates in the next video in this series. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming. I harvest my peppers and take care of the chores, watering the plants, petting the chickens, and gathering the eggs. I throw some peppers in the preserving bin, eager to share my hot sauce with the villagers. I gather up the fruit the bats left for me in the cave, and head to town to check the calendar, realizing I forgot Gus's birthday, and then head to the mines, where I am on the home stretch and should finish up by midsummer. Unfortunately, my terrible sword that I've been bemoaning for the past few episodes has finally caught up with me, and my flailing at the enemies on floor 81 leave me bloodied and bruised and the monsters ready for more.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
I head to the spa to recuperate. Afterwards, I head back to the farm and spend the rest of the day chopping down trees. I should have the wood and labor credits needed for a barn by the end of the week. On day 10 of summer, I wake up and check the news like usual and find out that tomorrow, the community's most important celebration of mutual aid is being held, the Luau. The Luau is where everyone comes together and contributes something to a huge communal meal, and there are lots of fun and games on the beach and community organization training as well. I'll have to find something suitable for the event between now and then. Outside, I check the mail and see Willie is now selling improved fishing rods. That would be a perfect way to test out the new tackle I have available, so I'll have to pick one of those up. My red cabbage is ready to pick, as well as some more coffee to add to my ever-growing coffee field. I need the red cabbage for one of the community bundles, so I head there and donate that and some of the fruit I've been carrying around. It's Maru's birthday, so I swing by her place and give her a 2-week-old strawberry, and she loves it. For some reason, I decide to head to the mines, but I'm greeted with luck on floor 81, as it happens to be the mushroom layer, which is on a random floor between 81 and 120. I don't like mushrooms, but maybe I can share them with the other villagers at the luau. My high luck for the day is offsetting my terrible sword, and I manage to make it to floor 85. Afterwards, I swing back into the community center and make a huge donation, including some of the cave mushrooms, a pepper, a cave carrot, and some tree saps, which completes the exotic foraging bundle, giving me some fancy food dishes. I head head home to gather some sleep for the big day tomorrow, and overnight my foraging skill increases and I pick up the gatherer profession for a chance of double harvest from forageables. My combat skill also levels up, which makes sense after swinging my sword 1,000 times to kill one enemy. Day 11 is Luau Day, so I take care of my crops and animals and then pick out the finest delicacy I have saved away for occasions such as this. I decide to bring a gold star halibut as it's one of the most delicious fish in the world, although king salmon and swordfish give it a run for its money. Unfortunately, neither of those are native to Stardew Valley. When I get to the beach, I meet the current governor, who acts as a sort of executive officer for the week. All of his decisions have to be ratified at a special bi-weekly meeting at the community center by a simple majority in the case of purely eternal affairs, but by a 2/3 majority in the case of more major issues. I didn't vote for him, but I'm glad he is handling bureaucratic matters instead of me because I hate meetings. He tells me he's looking forward to the potluck soup and makes what I assume must be a joke about capitalists and their silly ideas of private property. Lewis tells me to add my fish to the cauldron, which I will get around to, but first I want to socialize with my comrades. Elliot, who lives here on the beach, forgot the luau was today and was surprised to find a party outside his door. I talk about the farm with Leah, get some cooking tips from Linus, and hear more about the history of the luau from Penny. Sam, who is more committed to the cause than most, tells me he has no respect for the governor's authority. I put my halibut in the soup and then talk to Gus, who is trying to keep flies away from the feast, and Shane, who is much more friendly than usual, likely because I bribed him with some of my hot pepper chutney. Alex and Haley are just enjoying the weather, and Emily is so into dancing that she doesn't even notice me trying to say what's up. I figure that's enough chatting and go attend a community self-defense seminar while I wait for the soup to be ready. Shortly afterwards, Lewis tells everyone it's time for the feast and the governor takes the ceremonial first taste. Everyone waits in suspense to hear how our soup compares to the other communes in the area. Thankfully, the governor is very pleased, telling us he is never disappointed by what our community has to offer. Everyone digs in and we eat, drink, and celebrate our freedom from the state long into the night. The next day I awake to a bountiful harvest of peppers, tomatoes, and coffee. I pick all these and tend to the farm and then decide to go buy a bunch of melon seeds and fertilizer because I still have time in the season for a large crop of them. Afterwards I go beachcombing after hearing that tons of shellfish has washed ashore. I build a bridge to the east side of the beach and collect a ton of coral as well. Maybe the sickly green color of the ocean has something to do with why so many shellfish and coral are littering the beach. I return to the farm and plant and fertilize the melons, hoping for as many gold star ones as possible. Later, I head to the museum to donate some artifacts and head back to the mines again, hoping for as much luck as I had the other day. Unfortunately, I come across a monster infestation floor, which I have no hope of defeating with my meager weapon, at least not before the day ends and I pass out in the mines. I head home, running into Linus hanging out by his campfire on the way. He invites me to join him and he tells me about his experience living in Pelican Town. Some of the other villagers aren't very nice to him, either because they're uncomfortable with the idea of someone wanting to live like he does, or because they still have deeply internalized feelings about class and homelessness that have persisted from when Stardew Valley still lived in a capitalist system. He got me thinking about how long feelings like that would persist after a revolution. 1 generation? 3? Hundreds of years? No experiment in socialism, whether stateless or not, has lasted long enough for us to know really, but I imagine that even in places that guarantee housing as a right, some people will still want to live somewhat apart from society, and some people will maintain bigoted or supremacist views towards them. Maybe it is deeper than class entirely, and has to do with even more deeply ingrained sociological concepts about in-groups and out-groups that are holdovers from early humanity's evolutionary or psychological development. In any case, Linus is happy that we are good friends and invites me to his tent to show me something. With a combination of plant fibers, monster slime, and bug meat, he quickly fashions a special kind of fish bait that would surely be much more effective than the plain bug meat I normally use. Linus even claims its quality is high enough for humans to eat, but I'll just take his word on that. He shows me how to make the bait myself, and I look forward to trying it out the next time I go fishing. It's past midnight, so I thank him and head home to sleep. I'm awoken on the 13th of summer by heavy rains outside. Kropotkin has decided to stay inside and sleep all day, but duty calls, so I pet him and head out to work. I check the mail and find a letter from my mom. She read about me in the local paper and tells me how proud she is and that she loves me. It's good to hear from her and even better to make her proud. I guess the farm must be gaining some notoriety for her to hear about it all the way back in Zuzu City. My first batch of melons is ready, so I pick them and hold on to them for later as they can be used in some important cooking recipes. I take one of them as well as the tomato and some copper, iron, and gold to the community center to nearly finish the summer crops bundle and to finish the blacksmith bundle, which rewards me with another furnace. Eager to get to the bottom of the mine so I can focus on other things, I return there, and this time my luck is through the roof as I quickly make it to floor 90 where I finally receive my first decent weapon, so you won't have to hear me complaining about my shitty sword or being too stingy to replace it anymore. It also comes in traditional Anarchist black and has an incredibly edgy name in the Obsidian Edge, so I will have more Anarchist cred and also Molgoth cred for what that's worth. The difference between my level 1 sword and the Obsidian Edge is night and day, and I can make short work of any statists, authority figures, or other monsters I encounter from here on out. I easily make it to floor 95, and with my new weapon and only 25 floors to go, it should be no sweat to finish the mines in a few more trips. I make a quick trip to the community center to finish the adventure bundle, which gives me a small magnet ring which will come in handy, as well as finish most of the geologist's bundle. I head home and hit the hay, leveling up my mining skill overnight and choosing the geologist profession, which gives a chance for double gems, which will come in handy as gifts or just selling for more labor vouchers. On day 14 of summer, I awake to a surprise but a welcome one in that my blueberries and sunflowers are ready to harvest. Harvest doesn't seem like the right word for a sunflower, nor does pick. I think cut them down is the correct verb, but that sounds like something a guy on a horse does to his enemies. In any case, I go to town gathering up the blueberries and sunflowers. Both are low maintenance crops because blueberries have several harvests throughout the season without the need to buy or replant more, and sunflowers produce so many seeds that they are basically in the same boat. Pam has sent me a letter asking me to go on a beer run for her, and luckily my hops plants will be ready soon, so I'll have plenty of beer for her and the rest of the town soon. I'm not really an IPA or hoppy beer kind of guy, so I'll have to wait until I get a larger operation later to make beer for myself. I go to Pierre's shop to sell my blueberries and coffee beans, making a few thousand labor vouchers which I use to buy a bunch of wheat, radish, and flower seeds. Flowers are good to grow because they make good gifts and attract pollinators, so I like to keep a handful around. I have a few marigolds in my garden for that reason as well. I know I've mentioned buying a barn several times now, but I can finally afford one and just need some more wood, so I chop down most of the rest of the trees in the northeast quadrant of the farm and head to Robin's shop. I didn't quite clear enough area to put the barn where I want it, so I settle for a temporary spot and figure I'll have Robin magically teleport it to a better location later. I don't know how she does that, but it is within her power and I choose not to question her. It'll take a few days to build, but when it's ready, I can start building a proper animal farm and get some cows, goats, and sheep. I'm exhausted from cutting down all those trees, so I go relax in the spa for a while. Afterwards, I return to the farm and plant all my new crops. I have a few hours left in the day, so I make a quick trip to the mines for some copper, and also for a sword I wish I had found 4 episodes ago. It's irrelevant now as my new sword cuts through these low-level enemies like butter. It's late, but I decide to swing by the community center anyways to finish the geologist's bundle, which gives me some Omni Geodes and completes all the boiler room bundles, leading the Junimos to show up and use their magic to repair the boiler system. I also donate oak resin for the enchanter's bundle and a sunflower for the dye bundle. This has probably been my most productive week with regards to the community center yet, and soon the community will be able to spend time here together like they used to. With precious little time left before I pass out in the middle of town, I bolt home, making it just in time. Overnight, the Junimos spread throughout Pelican Town and continued their repairs, fixing the old minecart trolley system that connects various places. This will definitely save me some time going forwards, especially for trips to the mines and to the eastern part of town. So that concludes week 6, perhaps my most productive yet, of my Anarchist playthrough of Stardew Valley. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe to stay tuned for the next video in this series. Peace.